Dr. Jeffrey A. Engel is the founding director of the Presidential History Project at Southern Methodist University. Until the summer of 2012, he served as the Verlin and Howard Cruzy class of 52 at A&M, founders, professor at Texas A&M University in the Bush School. So we're pleased that the Cruzys are here as well. Thank you very much for the support that you've given to Jeff Engel and to the Bush School and Texas A&M. When Jeff was here at Texas A&M, he was the director of programming for the Scowcroft Institute, and he is a graduate of Cornell University. He additionally studied at St. Catherine's College, Oxford University, and received his PhD in American history from the University of Wisconsin in Madison. And he served as an Olin postdoctoral fellow in international security studies at Yale University. His books include Cold War at 30,000 Feet, The Anglo-American Fight for Aviation Supremacy. He received a pretty significant award for that book. He won the biannual Paul Birdsall Prize from the American Historical Association for his outstanding work in European military and strategic history. He wrote Local Consequences of the Global Cold War, published by Stanford University Press in 2008, and The China Diary of George H.W. Bush, The Making of a Global President, published by Princeton University Press in 2008. Rethinking Leadership and Whole of Government National Security Reform with one of our Bush School faculty members, Joe R. Cerami, and that was done for the Strategic Studies Institute in 2010. And he wrote The Fall of the Berlin Wall, The Revolutionary Legacy of 1989, published by Oxford University Press in 2009. Obviously, we miss him at the Bush School, but he knows he's doing well up at SMU. I would now like to suggest that we're going to have a pre-introduction to Dr. Jeff Engel coming up on stage. And before he brings his remarks, we're going to see a video. And this is a pretty significant video because it's a video in President Bush's own words. And it chronicles the events following the invasion of Kuwait. And I would like you now to pay attention to this video, and after it's over, we'll have Jeff Engel come up and talk to us. Thank you very much.
In the early morning hours of August 2nd, following negotiations and promises by Iraq's dictator, Saddam Hussein, not to use force, a powerful Iraqi army invaded its trusting and much weaker neighbor, Kuwait. Within 3 days, 120,000 Iraqi troops with 850 tanks had poured into Kuwait and moved south to threaten Saudi Arabia. At my direction, elements of the 82nd Airborne Division, as well as key units of the United States Air Force, are arriving today to take up defensive positions in Saudi Arabia. No one, friend or foe, should doubt our desire for peace, and no one should underestimate our determination to confront aggression. Our objectives in the Persian Gulf are clear. Our goals defined and familiar. Iraq must withdraw from Kuwait completely, immediately, and without condition. These goals are not ours alone. They've been endorsed by the United Nations Security Council 5 times in as many weeks. Most countries share our concern for principle, and many have a stake in the stability of the Persian Gulf. This is not, as Saddam Hussein would have it, the United States against Iraq. It is Iraq against the world. May I say that I just had a very useful meeting with His Highness the Emir, and I reiterated the total commitment of the United States to the objectives that are enshrined in 10 United Nations Security Council resolutions, we agreed on the desirability that these objectives be realized peacefully. At the same time, we also agreed that all options remained open and that steps needed to be taken right now.
Soldiers of the 18th Airborne Corps, our Commander-in-Chief.
Over the past 4 months, you have launched what history will judge as one of the most important deployments of Allied military power since 1945. And I have come here today to personally thank you. The world is watching. I've spoken with the Secretary of State, Jim Baker, who reported to me on his nearly 7 hours of conversation with the Iraqi Foreign Minister, Tariq Aziz. Secretary Baker made it clear that he discerned no evidence whatsoever that Iraq was willing to comply with the international community's demand to withdraw from Kuwait and comply with the United Nations resolutions. Let me emphasize that I have not given up on a peaceful outcome. It's not too late. The choice of peace or war is really Saddam Hussein's to make. Just 2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait. These attacks continue as I speak. Ground forces are not engaged. Israel is not a participant. Israel is not a combatant. And this man is elected to launch a terroristic attack. When the Soviet Union made such a strong statement, that was very reassuring. And we are in close touch with our coalition partners. And this coalition is not going to fall apart. Now, with remarkable technological advances like the Patriot missile, we can defend against ballistic missile attacks aimed at innocent civilians. I have therefore directed General Norman Schwarzkopf, in conjunction with coalition forces, to use all forces available, including ground forces, to eject the Iraqi army from Kuwait. The liberation of Kuwait has now entered a final phase. I have complete confidence in the ability of the coalition forces swiftly and decisively to accomplish their mission. Kuwait is liberated. Iraq's army is defeated. Our military objectives are met. Kuwait is once more in the hands of Kuwaitis in control of their own destiny. We share in their joy, a joy tempered only by our compassion for their ordeal. We went halfway around the world to do what is moral and just and right. And we fought hard, and with others, we won the war. We lifted the yoke of aggression and tyranny from a small country that many Americans had never even heard of, and we asked nothing in return. We're coming home now, proud, confident, heads high, There is much that we must do, at home and abroad, and we will do it. We are Americans. May God bless this great nation, the United States of America.